Hello homies. Today we're looking at what Redditors consider perfect movies. We all have one like that. Post yours down in the comments, if you're so inclined. That's all, enjoy the video. What movie do you consider perfect? The Hunt for Red October. Believable characters, believable tech even for the one bleeding edge thing that underpins the whole movie. Deaths are few and significant. Very little in the way of special effects, so what is there doesn't screw things up too badly. It's a repeat watch for me. My ex-husband's father was the XO of the Navy shipyard in Washington state and provided all of the subs used in the movie. He also coached Sean Connery on submarine jargon. My son loves telling people these facts. Airplane. This is one of those movies that's the equivalent of the Balmer Peak. If the comedy broke just a little, or the timing was off, it would be really bad. Instead, it's comedic genius from Mrs. Brady being the only one who could speak jive to all the exterior shots of a jet that has propeller noises. I've been watching that movie for decades and only now noticed the propeller thing. That's hilarious. Back to the Future, the first one, though I do enjoy the other two. The dialogue is brilliantly tight, the acting is incredible, and the story, while bizarre, is original and executed flawlessly and includes some truly iconic sequences: the skateboard chase scene, the insane bedroom scene with his mom, the parking lot knockout, the Johnny Be Good sequence, etc. Also, the whole aesthetic of the movie is one big masterpiece. The set pieces, the cinematography, the soundtrack, it all fits together as one. When I think of movie magic, this is one of the movies that comes to mind. Fun fact, one of the studio execs wanted to title it Spaceman from Pluto. Every time I see Back to the Future mentioned now, I think of the John Mulaney skit where he describes how bad the pitch for that movie must have sounded. His kid's got a best friend who's, a disgraced nuclear physicist. And he, tries to f*** his mom. Alien. Aliens 2. Then stop. I saw Aliens first and loved it, then went back and watched Alien and thought it a lesser film because I was expecting the action of the sequel. It was okay, just not as good. Then I saw Alien 3 and hated it. Next, I spent a decade or two growing up, and my taste in films changed. I rewatched from the beginning. Oh wow, Alien is great, the suspense, the horror. Aliens is a cool action flick, I guess, but a very different film. Alien 3. Oh boy, this really takes it back to the beginning, the sense of powerlessness and isolation. Add to that the tension Ripley feels not being able to trust the inmates. Brilliant. I think it might be my favorite now. Alien Resurrection sucks though. If we are going into the monster genre, then I'd also say the first Predator movie. It was just perfect for its time. The action and the tension is all there. Not to mention it sort of parodies action movies at the same time. In the beginning we get cheesy one-liners. In typical horror movies like Alien or Jason, it's vulnerable, defenseless people playing the victims. The first 30 minutes of Predator is spent building up how complete badass action heroes all of this a team is. All before they get picked off one by one. In addition, the Predator itself is shown to be vulnerable, unlike many other horrors of the time. If it bleeds, we can kill it. The Iron Giant. You stay, I go. No following. I can't cry on the train. If I show weakness here, the meth heads will rob me. What about Bob? Richard Dreyfuss legitimately hated Bill Murray on set. Julie Haggerty is a comic genius, Charlie Corsmo puts in a child performance for the ages, and for bonus a young Catherine Irby from Law and Order. Die Hard. Perfect action movie. Also, Alan Rickman. Rickman's acting in Die Hard transformed it from B-movie action flick into something worth watching for sure. Great villain. This was Alan Rickman's first movie. Before this he was a theater actor. Can't find anyone saying 12 Angry Men. Original or remake? Trick question, they're both very good, smiley face. I did not know they made a remake. Thank you for giving me something to watch when I get home tonight. Good Will Hunting. I love the scene where Ben Affleck tells him his best part of his day where Will leaves no goodbye and how he has a gift and owes it to those around him to use it. Such a powerful scene. Goodfellas. One of the few movies where I am completely engaged the entire way through. I've seen Scorsese say that he wanted it to be like a movie trailer that just kept on going. As far back as I could remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. Groundhog Day. Don't forget Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day 2 man. Jurassic Park. Took me too long to find this, I totally agree. Perfect balance of wonderment and fear, comedy and suspense, action and emotion. Not to mention special and practical effects years ahead of their time. The Room. Getting 0/100 on a multiple choice test is still a type of perfect score, and the same thing is true for Tommy Wiseau. As they said in Into the Spider-Verse, if you just guess on every question on a multiple choice test, you'll get a 50/100. The only way to get a 0 is if you know all the answers. Tommy Wiseau is a visionary. Edit, it was actually a true/false test. Still, the point of how hard it is to get a 0/100 if you don't know what you're doing stands. Does not receive high marks. WALL-E. You know you like a film when you bother to actually have the dot in the title. For some reason my flatmate's girlfriend hates WALL-E, and every time we talk about bad Pixar films she talks like it's an obvious answer despite the fact that 2/3 RDS of the room disagree with her. The Prestige. Has big names, good unexpected and believable twists, a touch of sci-fi, and touches on some interesting moral/ethical dilemmas that humanity might need to deal with one day. Amazing movie. Who doesn't want to see Wolverine fight Batman with magic? Jokes aside, this is in my top 10 movies of all time. The Matrix. Studio Ghibli movies. Spirited Away is my particular favorite. One of Miyazaki's masterpieces. When you watch his early films and read his interviews from the 80s and 90s you get the sense that he was building for something he had in his head but hadn't gotten to the point where he felt he could put it on screen. I feel that Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle are the culminations of that work. No Country for Old Men. The fact I've only seen this movie once, nearly 2 years ago and still think back on it and feel really uncomfortable speaks volumes to how effective it was. Heard a story that real psychiatrists were analyzing movie psychopaths, and Javier Bardem's character in the movie was said to be the perfect psychopath, the character was that good. Forrest Gump. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I recently watched this. What makes it great is that it feels like a parody of modern-day fantasy despite being almost 50 years old. Edit, I thought it came out in 1971, it actually came out in 1975, so it's still quite a while until it's 50 years old. Princess Bride. A lot because of its broad appeal. Everyone from age 5 to 90 can enjoy it. Kinda like Lego, once you turn 91 plus you can never enjoy it again. Unlucky Grandma. The Shawshank Redemption. The fastest slow movie of all time. It also feels like two movies, there's pre-library and post-library. Hot Fuzz. Not a single line of dialogue is wasted in that movie, everything is significant and comes back into play later on. What made you want to become a policeman? Officer. What made you want to become a policeman officer? Thank you for watching until the end, homies. Of these, I agree most with 12 Angry Men and No Country for Old Men, and I would add Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Pulp Fiction. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a great day.